You're watching the Global Goals Studio. Joining us now is Martina Cheung, President of S&P Global Market Intelligence. Thanks for joining us.
Delighted to be here. Thank you, Richard.
Martina, your unit provides data and analysis to a wide range of business clients and investors. What insights can you give into the pandemic's impact on business?
I think at the beginning of this pandemic, I remember having a conversation with a very influential person in the climate space who had a concern that this was going to set back the climate debate by a decade or more, and on the contrary, I think we've seen an acceleration of topics concerning ESG, climate, and investments required there. And in fact, you can just look at the inflows into ETFs this year, which as of the middle of the year were up about 15 billion, compared to 20 billion increase for all of 2019. So if anything, these topics have become even more important through the pandemic as we've seen the impact on businesses, and we're hearing the common mantra now, build back better. And there's absolutely several opportunities for companies such as ourselves and the wider participants in Climate Week NYC and those who are members of the UN on this. And so it's a very exciting time, I think, and a time to take quicker action.
Martina Cheung, some of the other previous guests that we spoke to believe that some business sectors may not be able to survive this current crisis that we're in, while others may actually benefit from the pandemic. Would you agree with that?
I think there is certainly going to be quite a lot of impact on small businesses. Clearly we've seen that there's been, some very wide-ranging and deep damage done to sectors like the airline industry and retail, for example. I would say that we have to play through the tape on this, and it's going to take a little bit of time to figure out exactly how a number of those sectors are going to return to pre-pandemic levels, if you like. But there's certainly some lasting effects, I think, as a result of this.
Martina Cheung, you've also done a lot of work on the sustainability goals, particularly in the area of climate change. With all the climate crisis news coming at us this year, how do you assess the degree of climate risk for business?
You can break it down into three areas, I think. To understand the impact of climate risk on a company as an individual entity, you have to look at physical risk, transition risk, and embedded in that as well as aspects of legal risk. We're looking, as a company that has a rating agency and an index provider and data and analytics. We're looking at all three aspects of this, and some of the work that we've been doing has focused in on climate-linked credit analytics, for example. And so we've announced a partnership recently with Oliver Wyman that would enable us to overlay climate scenarios and connect those to the creditworthiness of companies. And we do that because it's necessary to understand it in an individual company, but also at a sector level. These scenarios that we're using are aligned with the NGFS scenarios, and we're very excited about this partnership with Oliver Wyman because we think it's going to advance the ability of all stakeholders in the market to really understand the financial implications of climate risk.
Martina, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Chica. Delighted to be here.
All right. Coming up next, moral business leadership and social impact. This is the Global Goals Studio.
The racial and economic disparities that have long existed in this country have only been widened by the coronavirus and amplified by the most recent acts of injustice. People around the world are coming together with greater urgency to demand action. At Bank of America, we know we all have a role to play to overcome the very real consequences of systemic racism and inequity. This includes individuals, governments, nonprofits, and the private sector. Racial equality and economic opportunity are deeply connected. That's why Bank of America has committed $1 billion over 4 years to address critical gaps in affordable housing, access to healthcare, employment and job skills, and the resources small businesses need to succeed. We can do more, and we need to do more now to further advance racial equality and